Black Widow, No Time to Die, Last Night in Soho, West Side Story, Avatar 2, not that anyone really cares, A Quiet Place 2, The Batman, the Bob's Burgers movie, The Kingsman, and Dune. Every single one of these movies are delayed either till 2021 or 2022. And they all make me really sad. Honestly, I've had to really push myself to watch movies lately, which for me is synonymous with depression. Thankfully, this past week I was able to get out of bed and into the couch to watch a movie, which is a good thing. I watched The Seventh Seal, and I loved it. It was great. It struck that passion inside of me. That's what she said. Ignited that passion for film, and then I found out that Dune was delayed, and fuck. I swear to God, if Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed till 2021, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do for the rest of this year. Most of you probably know this already, but the recent release from Christopher Nolan, Tenet, is the reason that everything in cinema is just being delayed right now. Not that Nolan is the cause of COVID, though he might be. It's the reaction to Tenet's box office numbers that has all of these production studios just going into a delay frenzy. Tenet did open up to a very underwhelming box office reception in America specifically, which you can probably relate to since most of you live in America and also probably didn't go see the movie. So maybe you're to blame. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But it has gone on to make money internationally, which means that in other countries, people are actually going to their theaters, which is a great thing. It's really good news for us. So the anxiety I hope to address today is the idea that the movie theaters are going to be gone for good. Just, another one bites the dust. And that streaming will become king. Do I think this is true? No. No, I don't. Now, I am not some number-crunching business guru. I went to business school for 3 years, where I spent all my time working on my website and ignoring class. So this is not a professional opinion. I am just a dude who loves movies and making videos, and I'm giving my thoughts. Okay, so real quick, before I keep going on, I want to shout out my Patreon. I usually do it at the end of the videos, but I'm going to start doing it in the middle. These people are awesome. They have been supporting me continuously and just being a great group of people. I would love it if you could just take a moment to check out the Patreon. If you can't afford to support me, I do understand, but just taking that time to look really does mean a lot to me, so thank you. I believe that movie theaters are too important to American culture for them to just stop existing. What I think will happen is that the small theater chains specifically, and potentially even the big theater chains like AMC, who is struggling right now, will have to close down again. They are struggling right now, just like people and businesses are all struggling during this new COVID America and world, all right? So after this whole COVID stranglehold on the economy is over, however long that takes, a year, 2 years, we don't really know yet, but after that is over, I believe that it's just too important for it not to be capitalized on. There are a ton of people who have enough money to start theater chains, and I think that's what will happen. So that will become a new possibility. So worst case scenario, we have to wait a few years before we can start going back to the theaters like we used to. And, well, that's just a reality we may have to accept. Now, if you think that streaming is the real reason that theaters will end, let me ask you, sir, yes you, when was the last time you actually paid $20 for a new release? The only way I could see streaming being a threat to theater experiences is if when you paid that $20, you were magically transported through the fourth dimensional construct to an actual theater that's not just your insignia with a $20 soundbar. Theaters sell experiences. That's why we go. There's no other reason I would want to be surrounded by noisy people eating popcorn while watching a new movie trying to critique it, other than the fact that I don't have a multi-$1,000 setup. Theaters sell experiences, not convenience. There's a reason theaters were still packing people in pre-COVID days, and that's it. In order for theaters to stay profitable now and to start becoming profitable during this time is to change. They have to meet expectations. My local theater is actually doing really well here in Louisiana, and they took that time during the initial shutdown to renovate. So now there's like a third of the actual chairs in the theater, so less people, more leg room, bigger seats. It's easier to get that 6 feet distance between people in that space. And that's the sort of changes that theaters need to make, which, if you ask me, they should have been making those sort of changes pre-COVID, because most theaters are charging $10 through $13 an experience. I don't want to be paying that much to be just crammed around people in a hot, sweaty, uncomfortable seat. Does that make sense? Yes. To me, the less people in the theater, the better. And another reason the theater is doing really well here is because 80% of our population doesn't even believe in COVID. But we're not going to go there right now. I'm simply bringing it up because it's necessary to understand that COVID is the real issue right now, and that once this is over, or once we all learn to adapt to these new ways, then things will change and theaters will remain. Because like I said earlier, it's an experience, right? We want that. Everyone who watches my videos, I'm guessing, has gone to the theater at least a double dozen times in your life, right? If that's wrong, let me know. I know there's some people who don't live in cities and don't have options to go to theaters, and going to theaters is like this big deal, right? And even in that situation, it's like you're gonna miss out on that semi-annual trip to the theaters, right? People look forward to that. It's a part of American culture. I don't see there being someone who's not gonna take a chance to capitalize on that. We need to look at the Tenet situation with optimism, because things are improving, right? The film is making money. Even if it's outside of America, it shows that people are still going to theaters, with this mindset. The pessimistic and generally ignorant people who are calling Tenet a flop need to adjust their definition of flop. Movie culture and the media in general just need to realign their perspective on what is profitable in the movie industry. The definition of flop has to change for the good, because we don't need headlines saying, look how terrible this movie did in the theaters, here's another reason to not release your movie, when at the end of the day, it has already begun making money within the first couple months. All right, so maybe there has to be some sort of adjustment with how long movies are in theaters. And of course, only bigger budget films will be able to afford to do that. But there are still a ton of other movies coming out that are just like not as known, right? Just people trying to get their movie out there. I wish more than anything that I could go see Dune this year, but I understand their decision to delay the release. They want to ensure their profit, and they're not willing to gamble like Nolan did with Tenet. But unless they know something we don't, aren't they gambling on the existence of theaters in a year? Do they know something we don't? No, they don't, because there is confidence in the existence of theaters. There is a need and a want and a desire, and I don't think COVID is the end of that, guys. Streaming is a wonderful thing that provides so much entertainment to so many people at such a reasonable cost, but you're not getting a theater experience from Netflix on your couch. And people are willing to pay for that, and that's what it comes down to. And if no one wants to take that chance, you better support me on Kickstarter, baby. We are coming out with a theater chain to your city. All right, Film Informer Theater Chain Gang, let's go. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I do apologize that I haven't been releasing as much content lately. As I've said, I just have been going through this movie depression. I haven't had energy to watch movies because it's just been so draining this year with the theater industry and everything that's going on with releases. But you can expect content. I will, of course, not stop releasing videos. But of course, I do take some time to make smaller videos like this where I just talk about whatever topic is on my mind or, going through the media at the moment. Please subscribe, like the video, and share with anyone. I would appreciate it. You guys are great. Thank you so much. See you next time.